And we are back. And we just finished watching 1999's Galaxy Quest, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. We saw this on Starz, and it's also, I think, available for rent on some other platforms. This is a movie that I initially didn't want to see because I'm not a fan of Tim Allen. But then, what did we? Did we rent this when we lived?
No, we just caught it on television one day.
Oh, it was like Spike TV. It was like on cable or something.
I don't know where we saw it initially, but we watched it on television, and we were like, this is actually a pretty damn good movie.
It really, really is. And it holds up. It's like, I think The Mummy came out that year too, 99. And another movie that stood the test of time. This is directed by Dean Parisot with writing credits to David Howard and Robert Gordon. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. Olive G, what did you think of this movie?
I thought it was okay.
Just okay?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite character?
No.
Scene?
No.
Why was it just okay?
You didn't like those little creatures eating that other little creature?
No.
Okay. That was awful.
That was pretty funny.
Why was it just okay?
Because it just was.
What could have made it better? What would you have liked to have seen in this movie to make it better?
I don't know.
I would like to say that we had to fight for our children to watch this film for years.
And finally forced them to.
And finally, when we saw that it was just available on Starz, forced them to watch it. So they were already going in
begrudgingly.
I barely watched it.
I kept an open mind.
They did, to their credit, they both sat and watched it.
They did sit and watch it.
No one fell asleep because I'm sure that they were more entertained than they'd care to let on.
Yeah.
So what were the characters' names again?
There was Captain Taggart, played by Tim Allen, also known as Josh Nesmith, I guess was his actor. Jason.
Josh.
Why did I call him Josh? Jason.
Josh.
Then there was Gwen DeMarco, who is also, what was her name? Tawny Madison.
Tawny Madison, yeah.
It sounds like a stripper's name.
That's like an 80s actress name. Like, seriously, there was Tawny's.
Her actress name was Gwen DeMarco.
Characters were interesting.
Played by the lovely Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver,
yeah, from Alien.
Then there was Alexander Dane, who was Dr. Lazarus on the crew, played by Alan Rickman. Fred Kwan was Tony Shalhoub, who was amazing. What was he? He was like the Scotty.
He was like the Scotty, but of all of them, he was the guy who just took everything in stride. Like, not all the crap that they were seeing, he was just like, all right.
Nothing much fazed him except when he was called to kind of handle some business, and he kind of freaked out about it. But otherwise, he was
the teleporter.
He was a cool cucumber.
The pig that they teleported into the station, I guess.
Oh, that was funny.
He was turned inside out.
And then he exploded.
Space pig died so horribly.
And there was also Tommy Weber, Laredo, played by Daryl Mitchell. So none of those people?
No.
No?
No.
Hmm.
All right. You don't have to like a specific character.
Easy. How about you, Gigi? What'd you think?
I've been gassy this whole movie.
Yeah, no one needs to know that.
Yeah, it was pretty gross, actually, that you were gassy throughout this movie. What did you think?
It was okay. I would have liked it if it had better special effects, but that's only because I've been exposed to like Marvel movies.
I could see that. I could see being kind of like, it's just okay.
Although for the time, the effects don't disintegrate as badly. Surprisingly, they're actually better than what you saw in like those first 3 Star Wars movies, like Phantom Menace and all that. Like,
I agree.
That CG has
not aged
poorly.
Well. Yeah,
because for the most part, they were on a lot of practical sets, and all the creatures were like
really well done.
real practical puppets or whatever, like Saris,
Saris was fantastic.
he looked good. I mean, granted, you can't really get the mouth perfectly, which I think you probably noticed, G.
Well, I can
Like
get
when
the
he
mouth perfectly.
When he was laughing, it was just like his mouth was kind of.
Well, yeah, because like it's the upper part of his face has hardly any articulation, so you're not going to get any like P's or M's looking proper or anything like that.
Right. But he still looked cool, Saris.
But seriously, yeah, you cast aside that, you suspend your disbelief as far as that goes. He looked really good. He had slimy skin and all those like, what was he, like a reptile crab creature of some kind?
Craziness going on. Yeah,
He also had like spider-like hair or whatever.
Yeah,
he was like a hybrid of a lot of
like
stuff.
Some weird eye patch with spikes. Or
Like
something.
a
Yeah.
porcupine? No, not a porcupine.
Yeah, so I would say the production design was really good.
Really good for 99.
Yeah, for 99, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a good story. It moves along really quickly. I mean, for people of the time, I think it spoke to all of us.
Well, it also it was like a send up of
Like Star Trek basically.
and not only that, but sort of like
fans.
what happens to these actors, because a lot of like old genre actors, even it goes on even today, after the show ends, like especially if the show is super successful, after the show ends, they don't really have much of a career. It's pretty much just going to cons and interacting with fans. And you always hear like, some of them, totally embrace it, and others are like, they're just, I was an actor,
This again.
I did Shakespeare in the Park. What am I, now I'm signing autographs for snot-nosed weirdos and, But yeah, it was like a little bit of a send-up of that, especially with
Alan
Rickman's character, who clearly
Dr.
thought,
Lazarus.
I should be doing much better than I am, and
Right.
I'm playing second fiddle to this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was just because I watched the Betty White roast of William Shatner, but it definitely brought that home, and just the idea of like how the other cast members kind of, I wouldn't say jealous, but they definitely resented Jason because he was
basically William Shatner. I mean, you
Yeah.
hear stories about William Shatner demanding that he had the most lines and using his influence to, that person's maybe, I think they're getting a little too popular there. Let's
rein that in.
Let's rein that in. Remember, I gotta be in every scene.
Right. And he's just such a promotional machine that he's always pumping tooting his own horn and building his own brand. And it wasn't about teamwork, which I think is like the nice lesson here that Jason learns at the end.
Yeah, it's like it's bigger than just him. It's the whole crew that makes it work.
Right. I mean, I think it's also like a lovely nod to like fandom. You have like the Justin Long character and how
For some people, yeah.
this is
a huge part of their lives.
This is a huge part of their lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I tell you kids this all the time. Never apologize for liking the things that you like. Love them, and
yeah, it's okay to admit that something is cool, even if
other people don't think so.
Other people may not think so.
Yeah, and I love that his whole validation when he's like talking to Jason. He's like, okay, well, I thought about what you said, and I want you to know that it's not real. And then he goes, no, it's all real. And he was like, I know it. I thought that was such a great little scene. There's so many really, really well done things in this movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
It's great for kids.
Yeah, it's PG.
It's a good kids movie that I would say people of our generation probably could really enjoy, because like I said, it's a send up of the things we grew up with, especially with like Star Trek.
Absolutely. And I mean, you could probably, well, I don't know. I mean, just fandom in general. It doesn't even have to be Star Trek, right?
Yeah, just fandom, but I mean, they're really aping
absolutely the Star Trek model. Yeah, for sure.
With Dr. Lazarus headpiece. Of course, the alien's got some weird thing on his head and
some crazy language.
The rugged captain who's doing everything, and the woman on the bridge who's basically there to show cleavage and give exposition. And then the rest.
Exactly. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell is the guy who just dies.
Yeah, this was really, really. And it still holds up as far as I'm concerned. It's a really well crafted story. It's a great script. Again, not a fan of Tim Allen, but he's actually really good in this. I will cop to that. Absolutely, he is magnificent in this.
Yes,
absolutely. I expected nothing less from Sigourney Weaver, who's always a goat in everything that she does. Sam Rockwell, another just fantastic ensemble player here. Tony Shalhoub, also fantastic. Just from where it starts to where it ends, quite the nice little journey. And again, very family friendly. Family friendly.
There's no profanity.
Nothing.
There's not even the violence is pretty tame.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any actual blood or anything. Maybe like they get sweaty.
Well,
one guy gets shot, but it's not like blood. Like the blood that comes out of him looks like
blue jelly.
Yeah, because he's an alien.
Yeah.
But it was just blue and it was in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like gratuitous or anything.
It wasn't gratuitous. There wasn't any gaping wounds or anything. It was tame sci-fi action.
Yeah. I think, I'm just thinking about, this is 1999. There's a lot of movies that have come out from that time that didn't hold up. And this one surprisingly really, really does. I think if you were going to ask me about that year, I would totally put my money behind The Mummy, which is just excellent. A freaking classic, which we should probably talk about in a later date. But this one can also go toe to toe. This is probably one of the better movies of that particular year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, just was not interested because not a fan of Tim Allen, but I guess this is a lesson in not judging.
I think especially during that time, because he was just like, aside from Toy Story movies, he was very overexposed, and he was sort of on that Disney train where like it was, hey, Disney was just pumping out movies where it was just, let's just throw as much crap at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And he was in those Santa Claus movies, which did well, but oh, good Lord, those are garbage.
There was something else he was in.
Yeah, the whole plot of those movies is just bizarre. It's like you kill Santa and you get to be. It's almost like some sort of Highlander Santa company. Anyway, what numbers?
Okay, Olive G, 1 to 10.
6.5.
6.5. Gigi.
I give this a 7.5.
7.5. What would you give it?
I'd give it a 7.5 too.
I was going to say I'd give it an 8. I think the story is really, really well done. Still holds up. This movie is what now?
99, so I'm
22 years old.
Yeah, it's 22 years old.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Sometimes some things just don't stand the test of time, like those Shrek movies because of the topical humor, but
yeah.
This is something that you could watch 50 years from now and still enjoy.
Yeah, there was one dated reference. They mentioned the Learning Annex, which
I don't know if
that exists anymore.
I know. We both looked at each other like, "Wow, that's a blast from the past. We haven't heard that in a long time." Remember, they had those little boxes.
The little boxes. You open it up and you get a catalog for the Learning Annex. I got silk screen T-shirts.
Yeah, they had some fun classes on there.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? You think that still exists? We should probably look that up.
It may. Does anybody really look in those boxes anymore?
And I feel now that things are remote and virtual. You can teach anybody anything at any time.
Now it's all like the great courses and masterclass.
Masterclass, yeah. I meant to take one of those classes with Jay. Forgot.
So anyway, let's.
I'll wrap it up. So 6.5, 7.5. 7.5 and an 8. If you haven't caught it, absolutely do yourself a favor. Or if you've seen it, might be a good time to revisit an oldie but a goodie. It's Galaxy Quest from 1999. And we will bid you all a good night.
Good night.
Night. Good night.